Welcome back, everyone. We've got a lot to cover today.
Yeah.
It's a really fascinating time for the global TV, film, and media industries.
I know, right?
I mean, just looking at this week's Roundup,
Mm-hmm.
the sheer volume of news, it's
Oh,
incredible.
really
We've
is.
got everything from these long-standing studios to
Mhm.
the ever-evolving streaming landscape.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
you can't forget
No.
the whole creator economy on social media.
So true.
I mean, all of it.
It's
Wild.
It's exploding.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is
Yeah.
when you look across all of these different stories,
Mhm.
the adaptability on display
Oh,
is
yeah.
just amazing.
It's really impressive.
I think the industry is really in the middle of
Yeah.
a huge transition.
Yeah.
You know?
Driven by
Yeah.
audiences constantly changing
Totally
how
have
they
to.
behave, what they want to watch,
Yeah.
and then all
Yeah.
this technology.
Yeah. It just never stops changing.
And so, for our listeners,
Yeah, for you guys.
being able to kind of wrap your head around all this
Uh-huh.
is really important.
For sure.
You really understand
Yeah.
how and where
Right.
you're going to be consuming content
Absolutely.
in the future.
Yeah. And speaking of future content, we're going to be exploring some really cool stuff today.
Okay.
I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
We've got how a background in the military
Mhm.
can actually inform a comedic role.
Interesting.
And then this whole battle
Yeah.
between platforms like Instagram and TikTok
Oh, right.
for the attention of online creators.
So interesting.
And even how going to the movies
Okay.
might be changing in some really unexpected ways.
Mm.
So we're going to be synthesizing
Yeah.
all these updates in the industry
Uh-huh.
into a clear picture
Okay.
of the big trends that are
Uh-huh.
shaping the future
Cool.
of TV, film, and media.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's dive right into how content is being made and distributed in this ever-changing landscape.
All right, so the digital space,
Yeah.
it's really a hotbed of activity right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram's recent strategic shift
Okay.
towards short-form video
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
really focusing on how creators can make money
Okay.
on their platform is a great example of this.
For sure.
So they're introducing, new analytics tools,
Okay.
different bonus programs,
Mm-hmm.
and even new features
Okay.
that are all about keeping creators
Yeah.
engaged and active on Instagram.
It really highlights that competition for our attention,
Great.
especially among Gen Z.
Yeah, definitely.
TikTok has just dominated
Yeah.
short form video.
It really has.
And now Instagram's really making it clear that they want to be a major player.
Yeah.
And they're really putting their money where their mouth is.
With these financial incentives.
They're trying to pull creators over to their platform.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you wonder
Yeah.
about the bigger picture.
Right.
Like, is this leading to a fundamental shift
Uh,
in how we all consume
right.
information and entertainment?
That is a great question.
This really aggressive push by Instagram
Yeah.
shows that these platforms,
Agreed.
they understand
Yeah.
that the creators are absolutely key
Right.
to getting users to stay engaged
For sure.
and coming back to their platform.
Yeah.
So direct financial incentives are becoming
Yeah.
a primary weapon
For sure.
in this battle for the short form audience.
Okay, so
Yeah.
while that battle's going on,
Yeah.
these more established streaming services
Mm-hmm.
are also making some pretty big moves.
Mm-hmm.
Prime Video
Yeah.
is really focusing on creating original content
Okay.
in Southern Europe,
Interesting.
especially with their recent announcement
Hmm.
of these Italian series
Okay.
like Costiera
Uh-huh.
and the adaptation of Love Me at Series Mania.
At Series Media.
So for those who don't know,
Hmm.
it's a huge international TV festival
Okay.
in France.
Gotcha.
It seems very strategic.
Yeah, it's not just about
Right.
appealing to viewers in Italy.
Exactly. It seems like.
They want to develop stories
Uh,
that can appeal
What?
to a much wider audience.
yeah, almost like tapping into
Yeah.
these really authentic local narratives, but making sure that they also have
Right.
these universal themes
Yeah.
that can travel across borders.
Exactly. Like, if we think about this
Yeah.
in the context of the bigger picture,
Hmm.
this really shows how streaming services are starting to look beyond
Oh.
that traditional Hollywood system
Right.
for new stories
Uh-huh.
and fresh talent.
And speaking of news stories,
Yeah.
Amazon MGM Studios
Mm.
is developing a series based on the Myrtle puzzle books.
Myrtle.
I love those.
Oh, yeah, they're really cool.
They're such a clever concept.
Uh-huh.
Like, you've got this murder mystery,
Mm.
but then you, as the reader,
Yeah.
you have to use logic puzzles
Right.
embedded in the story
I love that.
to actually piece together the solution.
It's like a game.
I know it is.
Yeah.
And all the comparisons
Uh-huh.
to Knives Out and Only Murders in the Building,
Oh, yeah.
they make so much sense.
Totally.
It's that perfect blend of mystery.
Hmm.
But then you also have this playful
Right.
intellectual challenge.
I love that.
I think this move by Amazon MGM shows
Yeah.
that they really see the value
Mm-hmm.
in content
Right.
that actively engages the audience.
It's so true.
It's not just passively watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're actually part of it.
Yeah, it definitely taps into that really
Yeah.
popular genre,
Oh,
but
yeah.
adds
Yeah.
this really unique interactive element,
Right.
even though it's going to be on TV.
For sure. And
Amazon MGM Studios
Yeah.
isn't stopping there.
Okay.
They've signed Rachel Morrison
Oh, wow.
to direct
Yeah.
a film called Love of Your Life.
Love of your life.
And she's a really respected director.
Oh, I know her work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Black Panther.
Yeah, and the fire inside.
Right.
Oh, yeah. There was like a bidding war
Oh, there was.
for that project,
Uh-huh.
wasn't there?
Yeah, and that usually means
Yeah.
there's a lot of excitement around it.
And with people like Ryan Gosling
Yeah.
and Jesse Henderson involved in production,
Uh-huh.
it definitely has some serious
Yeah,
Hollywood backing.
that's for sure.
I also think it's interesting
Mm.
that the plot is
Yeah.
being kept
Top secret.
secret.
Yeah.
Like, they're not really saying anything about it.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah, it really
Yeah, it does create.
it's that sense of anticipation.
Totally.
Like,
What is it going to be?
I know.
Yeah.
Do you think that's effective
I think
in today's media landscape?
that's a good point because
Yeah.
we're constantly bombarded with
Hmm.
information.
Right?
And so maybe holding back those details
Yeah.
is a way to cut through all that noise
Right.
and actually
I-
make people curious.
For sure.
So now
Yeah.
Netflix is venturing
Yeah.
into familiar territory
Okay.
with a live-action Scooby-Doo series,
Really?
a live-action origin story
Wow. That's a bold move.
for Scooby-Doo.
Taking those classic Hanna-Barbera characters
Yeah.
back to summer camp
Uh-huh.
and then adding
Right.
like a supernatural murder mystery element.
Sounds like a way to tap into that nostalgia.
Right.
It also offers something new and intriguing.
For a modern audience.
Yeah. What kind of challenges
That's a great question.
do you think they might face?
Oh, I
Yeah.
think a big one
Yeah.
is going to be balancing those core elements
Oh, yeah.
that fans already love
Right.
with a contemporary approach.
Yeah.
That's going to appeal
Right.
to new viewers.
That's a tough one.
It's always tricky,
Yeah.
reimagining these
Mhm.
iconic characters.
For sure.
For a different era.
And speaking of reimagining things,
Yeah?
Apple TV Plus is expanding
Okay.
on one of their comedies,
Mm-hmm.
Mythic Quest,
Oh, I love that show.
with Side Quest,
Mm.
a spin-off anthology series.
This is inspired by
Mhm.
those standalone episodes, right?
Like A Dark, Quiet Death.
Oh, yeah, I love that
That
one.
one was so good.
It was.
And now they're making a whole series
So interesting.
exploring these side stories and
Yeah.
showing how this video game
Yeah.
and the company
Yeah.
impact people's lives.
It really allows them
Uh-huh.
to kind of go deeper
Well,
into that world.
Yeah, and explore all these new narrative threads.
For sure.
It shows that trend of expanding these fictional universes
Yeah.
that are already so popular.
I love it.
And now let's talk
Yeah.
about the people who bring these stories to life, on screen and off,
Right.
because there have been some interesting developments on
I-
that front as well.
Okay, one story that really stood out to me
Mm-hmm.
was Tame Thaptham,
Okay.
who played Gaitak
Yeah.
in a White Lotus.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
Right.
Yeah.
He has a real military background
Oh, wait.
and experience as a bodyguard,
Wow.
and a Thai rapper encouraged him
Really?
to audition for the role.
That's so cool.
Isn't that wild?
I love
Such
him.
an unconventional path
It really
to
is.
a hit show.
What do you think that
love it.
real world experience?
I think it adds like a really unique
Mm.
kind of authenticity
Uh-huh.
to the performance.
Right.
You know, his expertise in security
Mm.
and high pressure situations creates a contrast
Okay.
with the character,
Right, yeah.
like on screen,
Uh-huh.
which adds a layer of humor
Right.
and irony.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've also got Karina Sorelli making her directorial debut
Oh.
with a sci-fi thriller
Wow.
called Follow Me, The End of Us Bite Back.
Oh, okay.
And she has a background as a stunt woman.
Wow, a stunt woman
So cool.
directing a sci-fi thriller.
About the dangers of AI,
Oh, wow.
driven social media
That's so relevant.
across parallel timelines.
Oh, that's so ambitious.
It is,
Okay.
and timely.
Especially now,
Right.
with all the talk about AI. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that her
that's also-
experience in
right.
stunts
Right.
gives her a really strong understanding
Yeah,
of visual storytelling and
Yeah.
action.
for sure.
And Epic Pictures and Screen Australia are backing the project.
Which means they believe in her vision.
Exactly.
Right. And then
And
the core four
the core four.
behind Harlan Coben's thrillers on Netflix.
Those are so popular.
I know.
So good.
Too good.
Daniel Brocklehurst, Richard Fee,
Uh-huh.
Nicholas Schindler,
Right.
and of course Harlan Coben himself.
They've collaborated on
Yeah.
8 international series.
Yeah.
No,
And they're not stopping.
I know.
They've got more coming.
I'm so excited.
I think what's really interesting is how they take these novels that are set in the U.S.
Right.
and they adapt them
Yeah.
to British settings.
Yeah, it's not just about
Yeah.
changing the locations.
Yeah.
It's like they
Yeah.
really shift the
Yeah.
whole
The atmosphere.
atmosphere and like
Yeah.
the social dynamics
Of the stories.
of the stories. It shows how important it is
Mm-hmm.
to understand
Right.
cultural nuances
Yeah.
in storytelling,
For sure.
even when it's the same language.
Mhm.
Adapting a story
Right.
to a different culture
Yeah.
requires a deep understanding
It does.
of all those societal
Yes.
norms and expectations.
Okay, so moving on,
Moving on.
Carey Mulligan
Oh,
is going to star
okay.
in a musical drama
Huh.
called The Ballad of Wallace Island.
The Ballad of Wallace Island.
Yeah. And get this.
Okay.
She's recording a companion album with
Wow.
original songs
Really?
by Laura Marling.
That's so cool.
I know.
What a pairing.
Isn't that great?
It really is.
She's so talented.
She is.
And the fact that she also has
Right.
musical talent
Mhm.
and she's collaborating with Laura Marling
Wow.
on original music.
So cool.
It just adds a whole new dimension
It does.
to her artistry
Right.
and to the film.
It's really exciting to see
Yeah.
these different artistic...
Why it's explored.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's switch gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about factual storytelling.
All right.
Jeff Corwin and Josh Fox
Uh-huh.
are teaming up. Okay.
For a new series on CBS
Mhm.
called Extraordinary World.
Extraordinary World.
It's a show that celebrates everyday heroes
Mhm.
who are involved
Yeah.
in wildlife conservation and protecting vulnerable people and animals.
And with the support of the Brady Hunter Foundation.
It's so refreshing.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
a media landscape that
Yeah.
often focuses on the negative.
On the negative.
Yeah.
It's so nice to hear
Uh-huh.
about a series
Yeah.
that really highlights
That's
these
what we
positive
emphasized.
FHACs.
Yeah.
It really shows
Yeah.
the power of media
Right.
to not only inform,
Uh-huh.
but also inspire
Yeah.
and raise awareness.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's turn our attention to some international talent.
Okay.
Marlon James,
Mhm.
the Booker Prize winning author,
Wow.
is the creator of a new noir thriller series called Get Millie Black.
Get Really Black. Starring Tamara Lawrence
Mm.
and Joe Dempsey.
Uh,
So we've got
yeah.
an ex-Scotland Yard detective
Okay.
who returns to Jamaica
Interesting.
to investigate a disappearance
Mm.
and ends up confronting secrets
Okay.
from the past.
That sounds
Really cool. Atmospheric
Yeah.
and compels
And it blends crime fiction with
Yeah.
personal history.
against this really vibrant
Right now.
cultural backdrop.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.
Yeah,
The fact
yeah.
that it's set
Yeah.
in both Jamaica and the UK
Right.
really adds to that
Yeah.
interplay of cultures
Sure.
and creates the potential
Right.
for really nuanced
I love it.
characters.
Okay, and for those of you who are Harry Potter fans,
Uh-huh.
Nick Frost is in talks to play Hagrid
No way.
in the upcoming Max series.
That's exciting.
Isn't that cool?
That's such interesting casting, right?
Yeah.
He's such a familiar and well-loved actor.
Mm.
I think he has the warmth and humor
Yeah.
to really bring a fresh perspective
He's like-
to the character,
Yeah.
especially for this
Right.
ambitious
I mean,
7-season reboot.
wow.
It'll be really interesting to see
You will.
how he interprets the role.
Yeah.
especially because Robbie Coltrane was just so iconic.
So iconic as Hagrid.
Yeah, it's a big role to fill.
For sure.
And Frost's involvement could really inject some new energy into the series.
Okay, speaking of iconic figures, Barry Jenkins, the director of Moonlight, is partnering with Zendaya for a biopic about Ronnie Spector called Be My Baby.
Be My Baby.
So it's based on Ronnie Spector's memoir, and it's going to explore
her rise to fame.
With Sir Ronette.
Her marriage to Phil Spector and her lasting
musical legacy.
And
it's going to have original music and new recordings.
By Zendaya.
By Zendaya.
This project sounds so powerful. And moving. I think it has the potential to be really special into the life of a true
icon. Jenkins is such a sensitive director.
Right.
And with Zendaya's talent, I think they could create a truly memorable portrayal.
Okay. And for all the superhero fans out there, the cast for Avengers Doomsday has been announced.
Wow.
And it's a huge gathering of talent.
Tell me more.
We're talking actors from the X-Men films. Alongside fan favorites from the MCU.
I see.
The introduction of the Fantastic Four.
No way.
And even Robert Downey Jr.
What?
Returning as Dr. Doom.
Wow.
So much star power.
So much.
In one film.
That's going to be huge.
I know.
Yeah.
May 2026. Can't come soon enough.
I know, right?
This just shows that the superhero genre is still
in box office
of the box office.
Yeah.
It's a really clear sign that the studios are still all about bringing together beloved characters to create these big cinematic events.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Now let's talk about Jonathan Majors. Starring in True Threat.
True Threat.
An action film. Where he plays a special forces operative who's seeking justice for his son's murder in Harlem. And the film's going to showcase this martial art form called 52 Blocks.
52 Blocks.
Sounds like a really intense action thriller.
With a strong emotional core.
Centered around fatherhood.
Yeah, and I think introducing 52 Blocks to a wider audience is really cool.
It is.
It might bring a whole new style of action choreography
to the screen. Finally, we've got Julie Delpy joining Ruben Östlund's.
New satirical film called The Entertainment System is Down.
The Entertainment System is Down.
Of course, Östlund is known for his social commentary.
Right. In films like Triangle of Sadness. So he's taking on this scenario.
Where the entertainment system fails on a long-haul flight, and all the passengers are forced
to
interact.
With, I can only imagine.
Oh, it's going to be...
awkwardness.
Awkward and hilarious.
Right. It's the perfect premise for his style.
Totally.
Of uncomfortable humor and observations
about human behavior
in these
like fine situations. Exactly.
I can't wait to see it.
Me neither.
It's such a relevant premise too.
It's because we're so reliant on technology